Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm really excited today because it's been on my heart to try and post more content on our YouTube channel, but with homeschool and just daily life happening, I haven't been able to do that. But today, this afternoon, I have a block of time in my schedule where the kids are actually at their grandparents' house and I have a little bit of time, and I thought what I want to do right now is just go out into my back orchard and do a little orchard tour. If you're new with us here, we're the Secret Garden Homestead located in the Bay Area, California. And my name's Christina, and me and my family have been on this homestead. This is our third season, and so most of these trees are going into their third year. And in our back orchard, we have about 35 trees planted, and they range from plums, cherries, persimmons, mangoes, avocados, let's see, apples, pears. I think that's probably all of them, but I'm not sure. But I thought it'd be really fun to walk around and show you what we have going on, and also to document how much things have changed over the years. I love going back to like our year one orchard tour and seeing how much these trees have really grown, and just getting excited for what they're going to produce in the future. So join me as I walk through my backyard orchard and show you everything that's growing and blooming right now. I currently have my chickens free ranging here in the orchard, or at least in the majority of it, and I have learned that this is the best way to control the weeds early, but then also to give the trees some fertilizer as they're walking through, digging and scratching things up. So I have absolutely loved letting my chickens free range in the orchard. I think it has been one of the best decisions that we've made. Okay, and the first tree that I want to start with is actually, I have three of these, and they are the Santa Rosa plum trees. When we moved here, we planted two because they are my absolute favorite plum and probably my favorite fruit. And then I didn't realize when we moved in here that there was a mature Santa Rosa plum already planted. That has to be upwards of 10 years. And so we actually have three trees, which is fantastic. We haven't gotten a great harvest off the big one yet. The year before, it had like a huge bumper crop, and every plum was like this big. It was so tiny and sour. And then the second year, it barely produced anything, but what it produced was amazing. So I decided that this year, when the tree is ready, I'm going to start thinning it so that our fruit is big and has the ability to get very ripe and juicy. Okay, so these Santa Rosa plums right here, this one and this one, are going on 3 years in the ground. So this will be their third season, and I will tell you, based on the size of these trunks, these trees started as twigs in the ground, and they are doing absolutely amazing. And last year they got so much bug pressure from the aphids, and I really think one of the biggest benefits of having the chickens is they reduced the ant population. I think what was happening last year was that either the aphids were coming and sucking out the nectar, and then the tree would get infested with ants, or vice versa. And ever since having the chickens in here, I've not had an aphid or an ant problem at all, which has been absolutely amazing for these trees. These trees put on a ton of blooms, and they will experience what's called a June drop, where they're going to drop the fruit that they can't support. But even so, after that, I'll probably sometime in very early June go through and thin the fruit on this tree and the tree over there. Since they're still pretty tiny, probably keep it to maximum 20 plums per tree. And then that should provide us with wonderful fruit. I do plan to net these trees because Santa Rosa plums tend to get attacked by birds, and I don't want to lose fruit to birds, but I will net them probably closer to June because I don't want to stunt the growth of these trees because they are growing so beautifully. Okay, moving on to this beautiful tree right here. This is our big Santa Rosa plum tree, and it is absolutely loaded with the prettiest white flowers. Let's see if I can get a good shot. There's so many. I think because this tree did not produce like at all last year, I think we got like 12 plums off of it. It is set to produce like crazy this year. I mean, Santa Rosa plums are my favorite fresh eating fruit, but if this truly gives me a bumper crop of plums, I would love some recipes of what to do with the extra Santa Rosa plums. Are they good dehydrated? Are they good canned? Do they make a good plum sauce? I would love any recommendations that you guys would have, because I'm really hoping that this tree gives us amazing fruit. Okay, so moving on, right here is a apricot tree, and we replaced this tree last year. It used to be a Tilton apricot, and that tree did not make it through the winter, and so we replanted. So this tree has been in the ground for 2 seasons now, and this is a Blenheim apricot, and it actually put on some flowers for us. Not very many, but just a handful. And so we'll see what it produces. I'm not going to try and have it produce a ton for us. In fact, you can kind of see right there is the start of an apricot. I'm not going to be greedy with this tree. I'll probably go through and thin this, and I'll keep this to about 5 apricots. My dad absolutely loves apricots, but me and Ryan and the family are not huge fans of apricots. So we put this in because we felt like we live in California and this is a must tree. But as far as our family goes, we are not crazy about apricots, but still excited to be growing them in our back orchard. Okay, and if you saw our last video, you know that we have 4 avocado trees. And this is how they're doing. We decided to paint our avocado trees white because here in California, we get a lot of direct sun, and these trees hate the direct sun. They sunburn super easily because you can't really see it because we painted them white, but these branches, they're actually green. They're not barked over, and those green stems are super tender. And this Hass avocado right here is already really struggling. I think that it's trying to put on flowers. You can kind of tell, but I don't know if it will. I think it's trying to put its energy into making some fruit. I'm going to pick off any fruit that comes onto this tree because it really needs to leaf out. This tree came from Plant Express in California, and it was absolutely stunning when we got it. And it kind of looks terrible, but I don't know why. I think that Hass trees just really struggle in the Bay Area, just not quite the right climate. And then over here, we have a beautiful bacon avocado. I actually need to move this stick because it's causing the tree to grow sideways. But this tree is just loaded with flowers. And the beautiful thing about bacon avocado trees, for one, is that they're self-fertile. So I don't need an A and a B type to produce any avocados. That makes them wonderful. Because if my other trees don't flower or if something happens and they die, this tree would be fine. The second wonderful thing about them is they actually only take 9-ish months to go from the little flower to a full-on avocado. Most avocados hang on the tree for about 18 months. These are going to be ready in like December, January, which is amazing. And if you don't pick them in that time frame, they'll actually start to burst. So I guess that's a downside, but I've never had a avocado on this tree. We get really hot here where we're located in Northern California, and so it doesn't like the heat. So this year I might try and shade cloth it so that it won't get too hot, and it might actually hold on to some of its fruit. Over here I have a Surprize Avocado. That is not like a, I don't know the name. It's actually called a Surprise. And it's doing really well. It's putting on some new leaves. It didn't quite, the top of it got really damaged from the frost, even though we covered it. I cut that off, and it seems to be trying to grow and canopy out, so that's wonderful. This one made it. And then over here, this tree is doing absolutely wonderful. It's still very little. We painted this one white as well. You can see it's putting on some new leaves. This one is a Pinkerton Avocado. I've heard amazing things about this variety, so I'm absolutely excited to see what happens when we start getting fruit on this tree, probably in 4 to 5 years from now, but still, it'll be worth the wait. And hopefully in the meantime, our bacon avocado can start pumping out some fruit while our other little ones are just trying to catch up. Okay, over here I have some really tiny trees. I bought these as little bare roots. This is a Fantasia nectarine. And then over here, this really tiny little tree is a Snow Queen nectarine. And you'll notice that the ground is different here than it is over here in the orchard. And that's because over in this part of the orchard, we actually did back to Eden. So we rolled out paper, we laid a bunch of compost over top, and then wood chips. And that was like the first 3 rows of our orchard that we did. And then this winter, we extended out our orchard another 2 rows, and we never got around to actually doing the wood chips. So that will be a project that we're going to be tackling this year. That will make the whole orchard kind of look like this, and it really helps keep down the weeds, and the weeds that we do get, we can easily pull, whereas like everything over here is kind of a bear to pull out of the ground, so we were forced to like weed eat it. Okay, moving on. I have 3 cherry trees. So one's right here. This is a Bing cherry. Another is a Lapins cherry right here. They're just starting to wake up. And then all the way in that corner over there is another Lapins cherry, which is actually flowering, which is so funny because it's the smallest of our 3 cherry trees. I am not expecting much from these trees. We planted them last year, so really this is their 2nd season in the ground. So I'm not expecting much of a harvest or any harvest at all, but it's still really exciting to see that they woke up from the winter and that they are going to grow this season. Things are looking really promising. Okay, so over here and over here I have 2 pomegranate trees. They haven't put out their flowers yet, which is normal, but pomegranate trees put out the most interesting and beautiful flowers. So I'm always really excited to see flowers. This tree is actually really interesting. Pomegranates like to grow more like a shrub than a tree. And when we got this tree, it was probably this tall, and it came with the property. We didn't even know it was a pomegranate tree till it gave us 1 pomegranate. And now it's probably about 6 feet tall. We've tried our best to help it be healthy, and it looks so good. A little pruning, a little fertilizer, has really made it go a long way. So I'm probably going to let this tree get to be about 10 feet tall along with the rest of the trees in the orchard, and then keep it at that height so it's manageable. I don't want to be climbing a ton of ladders to be getting fruit, but I do want the trees to get tall enough so that we can get enough fruit for our family. And then over here, oh, and this is a Chinese pomegranate variety, whereas the one over here, this is a wonderful pomegranate variety. And when I planted it, it was so, I mean, it's really tiny right now, but it was so tiny. The cool thing about pomegranates is that they grow really, really fast. And even just looking at this tree right now, I can just tell you that it is absolutely like double the size that it was like a month ago when it was dormant. It's growing so fast. So I'm just really excited about the rapid growth that I'm seeing from this tree. Okay, so going across the orchard, that is where our apples and pears primarily are. So right here, I have my Anna apple tree. This apple tree has been in the ground for 3 years, and it is growing. Like, its trunk is a lot bigger than what it used to be, but it's always stayed tall and thin, and it just hasn't like come out and branched out. I always thought this was a weird looking tree. It finally looks like it's gonna branch out this year maybe, but it is putting on apples. Let me show you a couple. So like here's 2 apples that are forming. Again, I'm gonna see if this tree goes through like a June drop where it drops some of these apples. I would rather have 5 apples on the tree and some growth on the tree than a ton of apples on the tree and have it be a wimpy tree. So this is a tree I'm going to be watching because this tree is amazing. It produces apples like in July for us, and apple season's usually in September or October, and so this is kind of our first chance tree at getting apples for the season. So I want to make sure it's healthy and that we can get apples from it in the future. Over here, this tree is actually brand new to us. I had a different variety of plum. It was like a burgundy Japanese plum, and it was not looking good. It looked really sick. And so my friend April had mentioned that she really liked the Satsuma Plum, and she kept raving about it. So I thought to myself, I'm going to pull out that Japanese burgundy plum, and I'm going to instead put the Satsuma Plum here. The cool thing about this plum is it ripens sometime in like end of July or August, whereas my Santa Rosas are ready end of June and July. So it kind of spreads out our plum harvest. So I'm excited about that. This tree looks so healthy to me. It doesn't have much bug damage on it at all. I've got to take some of the gardening tags off of it. And it didn't really give me many flowers, which is fine because I would rather it focus its energy on its root system instead of giving me fruit. So really excited about this new addition to the orchard. And then here and here I have two apple trees. This is an Empire apple. Again, not much to show here. This has been in the ground for about 3 years. And this is a Fuji apple. It's been in the ground for about 3 years, and it's just waking up. So not much to report there, but over here and over here, I have two pear trees. This is the D'Anjou pear and the Bartlett pear, and they are starting to wake up. These trees also have been so shrimpy. When we bought them, they were sticks in the ground. I do feel like they're starting finally to grow, but it's just been a while. These have been in the ground for 3 years. This is their 3rd season. And it's just felt like these trees did not want to make any progress. So I'm hoping this year is a year of just absolute exploding growth. I think that these are also putting on flowers, which would be the first time that they've put on flowers. But I'm probably going to pick them off because I would rather the tree grow than grow just a handful of pears. Again, this tree, it looks a little bit better than the other one, but at the same time, it could use more of the branching out so that it can become a fuller tree. Also, in the front corner over there, I have 3 more apple trees. It's a Fuji apple again, which is doing wonderfully. It grew so much last year. I'm hoping that it grows some more. And then these 2 right here that you can't really see, they are Granny Smith apples. And so we'll see. Those have also been in the ground for 3 years. We'll see what happens there. I do have a Fuji persimmon that I want to plant into the orchard. I actually don't have any more spots, so I either have to take out a tree or find a spot to plant it, because Fuji persimmon is amazing and my kids absolutely love it dried. So our neighbor has a huge one and she generously shares with us, but I would really like to have a tree of our own, so we need to find a spot for that one as well. Okay, and then over here, this like block right here, are all of our peaches, which are literally my favorite part of the orchard outside of the Santa Rosa plums, because the peaches are absolutely amazing, and the varieties that we chose all ripen within like 2 weeks of each other. And so we have peaches all the way from like end of June through I think October, September-ish, I don't know, something like that. I'm so excited about what we chose. So here under this net, I have an Eva's Pride, and I have another Eva's Pride here. I think these were the same trees that I bought from the same place. I don't actually recall, but I think they were. And this one got put in with the Back to Eden, and this one did not. And this one is thriving so much more. It's loaded with peaches, whereas this one is not. And it's just a little bigger and did a little bit better. And so I have it netted for now, but I find that the trees don't do very well under nets, because they're trying to grow and they're being constrained, and it just attracts bugs and things. So what I'm going to do probably in the next week or 2 is put organza bags around the fruit to protect them from the birds or rodents, because we have a lot of squirrels around here. And then when it's closer to harvesting, I will throw the tree net over it. And last year we did that and it worked great for saving our fruit. It was a lot of work to kind of keep up with moving tree nets from tree to tree, but it's what we had to do to get any harvest, so it was worth it. Over here and over here, I have my mid-pride peach. Unfortunately, I did not take the peach leaf curl seriously, and this tree just got obliterated by the peach leaf curl. Because of the peach leaf curl, I think I've lost the majority of the harvest on this tree. The tree over there is actually holding on to some of its fruit. The good thing about where we live is that our weather is about to be above 80 degrees the whole next week, and we don't get a ton of rain here, and so even the leaves that have the peach leaf curl fungus on it, it's not showing on all the leaves because we're not getting any water on the leaves for any extended period of time. So it's going to give the tree a chance to grow leaves that look healthy even though they still have the spores on them, and then drop the old leaves, and hopefully it won't stress the tree out too bad where we live. Next year I'm going to be spraying so much more religiously. I sprayed once this year, but I think the thing that tripped me up the most was that our trees never went that dormant, and I think that was because we had a really warm winter. So I didn't think I could spray with the leaves kind of hanging on the trees, and so I didn't spray. And what I should have done is just stuck to Thanksgiving, Christmas, and end of January or Valentine's Day, but I didn't do it. I only sprayed once, and it wasn't enough to combat the peach leaf curl, and we're gonna suffer this year on our harvest, but it was a lesson learned, and I think that's kind of what this whole process is about. There's wins, there's losses. That's why you have multiple trees in an orchard, because sometimes some trees do great, other times other trees don't, but it all kind of balances out, hopefully, in any given year. That's our mid-pride peaches, and they ripen about 2 to 3 weeks after the Eva's Pride, and then 2 to 3 weeks after that, I have my Elberta Peach trees. I have 2 of those. One is right there, and the other is right there. This is their second year in the ground, and they actually look pretty unaffected by the peach leaf curl, which is amazing. They're all roughly about the same size, but those come on a little bit later. So I think those are ready to harvest by like end of July, and then all the way over on the other side of the fence where I have the chickens not able to go, there's a little tree right here. This is my O. Henry peach, and I believe the O. Henry is able to harvest sometime in late September, and so it'll extend our peach harvest for sure, but it does look like it has succumbed to some peach leaf curl to me, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, that's primarily the majority of the trees that I have in my orchard. It's so exciting to me, but I do have 3 mango trees that I want to show you, and those are in the very back. Okay, over here is my ice cream mango, and it looks a little crunchy. I need to be watering it, and I do plan on fertilizing it soon, but this tree produced for us probably 10 to 15 mangoes last year, and they were absolutely delicious. I don't think it's going to produce the same way this year. I think honestly this tree is kind of in shock from going through the winter, even though we covered it. And so again, I'd rather just get it acclimated to our area, fertilize it well, get it healthy, than have mangoes this season if I have to choose. And then over here I have a Kesar Mango, which is looking awesome, and it's putting on flowers, and it survived our California winter beautifully with being covered. So that's really exciting. Look at how green those leaves are. Just absolutely gorgeous, and it's putting on some new leaves. So really excited about that. This tree seems to be our happiest mango. And then over here I have our Manila Mango, and this one looks pretty barren, kind of like the Haas avocado that we have. When we bought it, it was super lush, and it just lost so many leaves. I think I went through stress of being transported, and I probably didn't do the best job of watering it, but I think it's going to be pretty resilient, and it will come back. But we probably won't get the world's best mangoes off this tree this year, which is totally fine. Okay, well, thanks guys for taking the time to walk my back orchard with me. It's so exciting just to see the growth of everything. And our homestead has been primarily just our orchard. We haven't had a chance to put in any raised beds. It has taken us all our time to get the backfield prepped for all things orchard and grapes, which I will walk you guys through. But I think that all changes this year. Behind me, Ryan has irrigated for our first set of raised beds, which are going to be home to our berries, elderberries, let's see, we have blackberries, we have raspberries, we have elderberries, we have blueberries. I think he's going to make me a couple beds for tomatoes and cucumbers and things like that. And so we're finally getting our first set of raised beds, which is so exciting. We're year 3 into our homestead, and our goal has always been the first 3 years to plant the perennial stuff first. And so that is kind of what we've done and focused on. So we've got our grapes in, we've got our strawberries in, we've got our orchard in, we're about to get our berry patch in. I think with that berry patch, we're also going to be putting in a huckleberry tree, a dwarf one. And so we'll pretty much have all of our perennial fruit plants in place by the end of year 3 at our homestead. And then we can start focusing on growing an annual garden next year. So I am always loving watching other people's YouTube channels of their annual vegetable garden because I'm not able to plant one with the situation that we got going on. But I know that, Lord willing, a year from now when I'm able to plant my annual garden, I'm going to be so happy that I actually planted all my perennials first, because they're going to come back stronger the next year and produce more. And I'm just going to be so grateful to have the abundance then. So anyway, you guys, thanks so much for tagging along with me. I am hoping that I can post more frequently on here. I want to try to get to a rhythm of every 2 weeks, especially with homeschool coming to a close for us early May. I'm hoping that I can make that happen. I really love this platform and sharing gardening tips and homesteading dreams, and I love watching other people's videos. So I hope that you guys are having a wonderful time gardening and seeing spring pop up from the ground just as much as I am. I'll see you guys on the next one.